Hello everybody and welcome back to another Java tutorial. Today we're going to be working on getters and setters. Now getters and setters are mainly used, the concept is a little more advanced than what we're going to get to, but we'll just start off with the basics. Let's start off with setters. Getters and setters are exactly what they sound like. They set a variable and they get a variable or an object, right? So let's just create a new class. We'll call this class scale. And within this class, we're going to have two variables. They're both going to be private, and they're going to be an integer, and these two variables are going to be the width and the height. Now, if we go over here to our Java tutorial class, we want to access these variables, and we want to set these variables. So we're going to go scale equals to new scale, right? We're creating a new scale object. This isn't creating an object that's referencing this. Just want to make sure you know that, understand that this is creating a new instance of this. And now we're going to do scale dot width equals to 5. But then you'll notice that this doesn't work. It gives you an error. That's because these variables are private, right? So we're going to create a setter. So a setter is very simple. We're going to be using the parameters feature that we looked at at last video. And if you are a little worried that you won't understand what parameters are, just pause this video and go back to the previous video I made on parameters just to make sure you know what we're doing. Don't worry, it's really simple. So we're going to create a public void set width. Then we're going to do another public void set height. And I'm being an idiot because I didn't zoom in. Sorry about that. So this is what I wrote in my scale class. Just take a moment to copy this down. Okay, once you've copied this down, let's get into it. So we have two methods. One's for setting the width, and one is for setting the height. And in the parameters, we're going to type in int width and int height. So we're going to pass in the value that we want to set our width to. And then in the set height method, we're going to pass in through the parameters the value that we want to set our height to. And then down in the method, we're just going to do this dot width equals to width. And down here, we're going to say this dot height equals to height. Now, I haven't made a video on the keyword this yet, but I'm not sure if I will because it's such an easy keyword to understand. This simply means you're referring to a global variable. So, this dot width is referring to the global variable width. Without that, it's just going to assume you're referring to a local variable. In this case, that's the parameters. So what this method is doing is when you call it, you're going to pass in a value, and that value is going to be, and then the width is going to be set to that value that you passed in. Same thing with the height. Pretty simple. So let's go back over here and we can do scale dot set width, and we can print out, and we can set it to 5, and then scale dot set height, you can set it to 2. And so when we run this code, it's not going to print anything, but it will set the width to 5 and the height to 2, just like we said. And here, set width, we're setting the width to 5. Here we're setting the height to 2. And that's exactly what we're doing. These methods are just going to set the width to 5 and then set the height to 2. Okay. Now, nothing's going to happen yet because when we run it, nothing's going to print out. Sorry, this is from a previous video. Nothing's going to be printed out simply because we're not printing anything. But let's now create some getters. So we can do public int get width. We can say public int. We can say get height. And now you'll see we have two errors. That's because we have to put a return statement. So this is a function. It's kind of like a method, but it returns something. This, it says void because just like voids, you throw something in, you don't get it back. This one, you call it and you do get something back. In this case, it says get width, so you're getting the width. It's going to return the width back to you. So, to do this, just return width. Same thing here. Return height. So now, this is going to act like a variable. This is an integer. Just think about it as this is a new integer that we're creating, and that integer is always going to be set to the width because we're returning width. So now, if we go over here, we can print out scale dot get width and print out scale dot get height. If we go back here and just update this. There we go. Now it's highlighted in yellow, and you can see that even though these are private, we're still able to get the width and set the width. So let's run through the getters and setters once again. So the get width simply returns the value of width, and then the set width is simply setting the width to the value that you've passed in through these parameters. Parameters, or the value, is here. In this case it's 5 and 2. So now let's run this code. You will see it'll print 5 and 2. I hope this helped. Thanks for watching. Hope you learned something, and see y'all in the next video. Goodbye.